Miss you like an astronaut up in outer space with all these pictures of your face so far away. No.
Henry the Archer. Well, so let's go ahead and introduce the real characters here. We'll go ahead and start with you, Richard.
I am Richard Hennessy. I do vocals and guitar.
Kevin Geist, percussion, drums, snare drum, bass drum.
Kick pedal.
Trying to list more instruments than you.
Let's talk about that in a little bit after Charles. I have an opinion on this.
Marchbanks, and I play bass. Let's hear more about your drums, kid.
So no, I've noticed this, and I'm passively judging right now. Okay, have you ever noticed sometimes you'll get an album, you'll buy it, you'll go to the record store, you'll buy an album, and you'll notice that under certain individuals' names, they will literally list absolutely, if they used a kazoo in for 2 seconds in one part on one song, they're taking credit. They're making sure they're writing that shit down. Yes. That shit is on there. So you get some records where there's one guy who's got like 47 instruments under. It's like, really, bro?
Yeah, like
really,
you really
bro?
need to list all that.
We understand. You like music.
Yeah. You're the
Good job.
king, okay?
You're the king of music.
Yeah, man,
Or the credit,
No, it's just
credit
funny.
hog.
It just reminded me of what he did. That's all.
What I was doing. That's exactly what I was doing.
Yeah, I know.
The same thing that you were. Yeah.
Vocal
like,
breath.
Credit
10
hogs on the
seconds.
album.
Because the first thing that I was gonna say was like, oh yeah, I play a little keys here and there, but that's the thing. I play a little keys. I don't play piano, so I'm not gonna list it as one of my mothership instruments.
You
if
have
you will.
conviction.
Yeah.
Everyone else is just trying to play off. Like, I know it all, man.
I know, man. I can
Live
play a
it
little
I
bit
went
of
to
that.
Guitar Center. I bought some stuff. I am a keyboard.
Well, that's a lot of kind of why Henry the Archer went from a solo project to a blown out band.
How'd you get the name Henry the Archer? What's the concept behind that?
Back in 2008-ish, I was writing a book, and it was called Henry the Archer. It was an autobiography about myself, only placed in medieval times, so it was a bit fictional at the same time. And the lead character's name was Henry, and he would watch out the window of the archers, and he came from a family of masons. Essentially, I never finished that book. I stepped away from music for a little bit, and that's when I got into writing, because I really enjoyed writing lyrics. That was my favorite part, just like being overly obsessed with the right word. Because you can say things like, you listen to a lot of music now, right? And Kevin and I were just talking about this the other night, and how I think there's something beautiful about saying a lot with a little, right? And it's a fucking challenge to do that. Like, it really is. And it's magic when it happens. So I stay away from being wordy, unlike my talking, right? So basically, the name comes from the title of that book. And I never finished that book, no.
Never? Do you have any plans to? You care to? Or?
Maybe when I can't sing anymore.
Yeah.
Right now, the book is live. The book is
Now the book is
You're
live.
living the
yeah.
book.
Now the book is live.
I don't remember.
Characters then?
Yeah, you are.
No. We already know what characters we are. Let's not talk about exactly what we are.
Charles is questioning reality. No, I mean, people have asked if I'm going to go back. It's like writing a song, right? Like, you ever start writing a song, but you never finish writing a song? It's the same deal. It's like you have to be in the mood, right? It's the same thing with recording. We're recording some new tracks right now, and we're not forcing ourselves to be it. Like, I pressure this motherfucker all the time, but I'm not gonna fucking say, hey, you got to have those drums down by tonight, because the best take anybody's gonna get on their instrument is when they're in the mood to do it.
That's so true, man.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's
Yeah.
That's
So
the downfall of paying a studio, versus doing it yourself.
time.
You schedule it, and then you got to be good that weekend, or you don't have it.
Yeah, and then you might have to go in there and take a shitty take, and then
Yeah, and
you're stuck with it.
Trying to power. Oh yeah.
You're stuck with that take, man, and that affects
Wild.
what record you're rolling with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man,
we record all our stuff.
Yeah.
words of wisdom.
It is like the power of like modern day, right? The ability to have a studio or just anything to record. I mean, you can record on the go on your phone. You know, we talk about all the time, but it's just it's crazy. You used to have to have a studio to do anything like that. you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Right. The technology.
It's nuts.
But to get to that the next level of sound, it's it's a little bit more challenging, right?
Oh yeah.
You can pick up a bunch of gear and record, but to get the studio sound, it takes a little bit.
It does. So this did start off as a solo project.
Yeah. Originally, I'm from New Jersey.
Oh wow.
Um,
Welcome to Texas.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been here a few years, and then I got booted and went to Colorado for a little bit and came back down here. But so the reason that it was a solo project for so long is because the music's it's very dynamic. I've always had a lot of fun with a lot of changes in one song, because music's kind of like a sandwich, right? Like you got your root, like you can have a great grilled cheese sandwich, right? That's your acoustic guitar and one vocal song right there. Yeah. 2 instruments, if it's done right, it's perfect. We're kind of like a hoagie, right? You got the bread, you got the meat, and you got a little bit of lettuce, whatever. And it's just like when you're making an album, you want to add a little tomato, a little oregano, whatever you need.
And when you're listening back, you can focus in on each element you want.
Absolutely, absolutely. But the problem is like, especially, I mean, I'm older now, but when you're younger, working with other people, they want to emulate other bands, and that becomes the problem when you really wholeheartedly just want to hear something different and you want to create something different. So I'm not very patient, and I have a really hard time working with people. But then it dawned on me, like, my albums are kind of not as good as they could be, right? I matured a little bit, and then I went and I was looking for a drummer actively, because initially, Henry the Archer, I would perform songs, but I would hire musicians, so there wouldn't be chemistry between us. Yeah. And so I played down here at the Grotto in Fort Worth, maybe 4.5, 5 years ago, something like that. And some guy came up and said, "Hey man, you really need a band." And so I'm like, fuck it, why not? I'll throw out an advertisement or something, or somebody did, right?
Yeah,
somebody posted something on Facebook, and Kevin here had responded to it, and so we got together and we jammed, and it was like a lot of his style kind of feels like home to me. Like, it feels like I can't listen to him and not dance inside, you know? And so it dawned on me, like, why am I trying so hard to do what I want to do on my own when there's people that are really fucking good? Like, I could play a 4/4 beat on drums, but it's going to be the shittiest 4/4 beat on drums that you're going to hear.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad. You're right. Thank you. No, but
Why did I say that?
But once you start appreciating other people and their talents and stop being so, focused on just your vision and give other people a chance, man, shit really begins to fucking happen.
That's the band, man. That's
right.
the synergy.
Right.
1 + 1 = 3.
That's
you
right.
can accomplish more.
Right. And feeding off each other. And so I found that with Kevin, and then and that's obviously when we were in Texas. And then shortly after that, we were looking for a bass player, right? So we had a whole bunch of auditions for a bass player. This is before Charles had joined the band. I'm just giving you the full-on motherfucker.
Forgot about
Yes.
that. That was an interesting time.
Yeah. So we had auditions coming through. I mean, we had gospel bass players showing up for auditions,
Playing
like
6 tuplets every other
on
measure, and you're all like, dude, come on.
on a seven
That doesn't even
on a
fit.
7-string bass.
Oh
just
my
And you're like, this song's like digga digga digga, like pump, man, come on, like try to play to the part.
So then we had, eventually he had somebody who was in a band with him a while back, Matt Hembry, who, if you look a lot of our older stuff online, he was our bass player, when things started coming off the ground a little bit. Anyway, Matt had some things going on in life, some blessings, some children, and a little less time. And he was actually the one that approached Kevin and I and said, "Hey guys, there's something really special about this band, and I don't want to hold it back," because we really wanted to get out there and play more shows and make more music. And it's hard, this is why Henry the Archer started out as one person, right? Is because that's the shitty thing about working with other people. You're also working with their schedules. And that is the hardest part of any band. That's why bands die, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
Matt approached me, and I believe Kevin. Anyway, he said, "Listen, man, I can't hold this band back anymore," and he stuck with us on our shows until we could find somebody. Meanwhile, I instantly knew this guy, Charles, his bass skills. I knew his performance, his presence. I also knew that he writes his own music, and he's a good singer. I really needed background vocals too, so we played. What was it, Charles? The Fort Worth Rock Assembly. Yeah, we were the Cure, and he was in another band at the time, and they were who were you guys? Cake. You're doing Cake. And I think I was like, Kevin, that's the dude. Like, that's the dude. Like, I could totally, like, his style's a little, it's out there. And I really fucking like that because it's like, oh, that's Charles Marchbanks on bass. That's not a bass player playing bass. You know, it's like he's got his own sound.
Yeah.
So I saw an opportunity, right, because the band is essentially a business at the end of the day. Yeah. So he's like adding a machine gun to my arsenal. You know, he's just, I don't have to worry about it. So at the end of the day, the short answer here is that, like, I'm not a bassist and I'm not a drummer. You know what I mean? And I need them to be what we have, you know? So, yeah.
It's beautiful that you can realize that. We're band people, so we love that. You respect each person and their voice, you know, what they add to the song. You can, like you said, it can be the best damn grilled cheese sandwich, but sometimes you want to make a hoagie. That's
exactly right. Sometimes you want to make a hoagie.
Gourmet grilled cheese.
And here's what's awesome about working with these guys in the band is because, like, Kevin he doesn't have to show off, right? You heard him play. He's fucking nasty.
Oh, dude.
Right? But he doesn't have to be. He cares more about the quality of the sound and making. How did you word it? Making whatever makes the song better.
Yeah. I'm all about, if it doesn't feel right, then it doesn't matter how many notes I'm playing. If it's not clicking or grooving, then I'm not in it.
Forcing something that doesn't need to be in
it's
there.
like what's right for the song.
You can feel it when you're jamming around with your band. There's a song you're working on, and you're like, do this part. It's just it's not there yet. Like the pieces aren't fitting. So.
Yeah.
I just want to say, if I am bread, I'm jalapeno cheddar.
Damn, I would have called Shoddy on that shit.
Hey man, there's a lot
That's
of
okay.
flavor.
I'm not the bread though. I'm the cheese. No, I'm the cheese.
There's cheese in.
Charles can be the meat.
There's cheese in jalapeno cheese bread. Yeah. Or jalapeno cheddar.
Does that mean technically I'm inside of him?
With his drums, right?
I'm inside of him.
Whoa.
Back up.
So step away from the sandwich analogy.
Too many sandwiches. All right, the trombonist.
Yes.
How did he
Tom?
Said he's on and off.
He's on and off. You're going to definitely see more of him in the future. As far as officiality of it, well, we're talking. But again, it's sometimes music needs a little salt and pepper, and that's what the trombone adds.
Was that your idea? Was like, man, I really need a trombone.
Yeah. So if you listen to the most recent record, Zero's a Number, right? We had a show. Don't call me on what show it was. I don't fucking remember. But I really wanted it to be special. And on that album, on the track New Mexico, I'm playing a trumpet in the studio. I'm blowing into a trumpet to add a little beef to the song because that's what it needed. And unfortunately, I can't sing, play guitar, and play a horned instrument. So I just can't. I don't have a fucking hole in the side of my neck. I just can't do it.
Sweet,
so I'm looking, and I knew this guy, right? I knew from I had done an interview over at TCU. The what's it called? The Good Show. Good Show Tom. So that's who plays trombone with us is the Good Show Tom from that radio station.
Oh,
very cool.
Anyway, he's an awesome dude, and he has chemistry with us. So the cool thing about Tom doesn't rehearse with us. What's that dude's name with the long hair? He's like, who the fuck is that guy with the long hair?
Jesus?
No, Jesus of music.
Jesus.
The guy who's got real strong opinions.
Oh, is the comedian also?
Nah, I'm pretty I don't remember the dude's name.
Anyway, I don't know.
Anyway, I just don't want to covet this as my personal idea because it's not.
Oh, it's just some other
It's
guy.
inspired. So this one dude said, when you play live don't always play the same thing, right?
Yeah.
That's really simply put. But he gave like a 15-minute speech on the motherfucker. So Tom doesn't practice with us. He doesn't rehearse with us. Every time you see Tom on stage, he is just, you're getting a special moment because you're never going to hear that horn part again. He'll come out next time, it'll be a little bit different. And that, I think, is exciting. I'm a father of 2 small children. And my daughter said to me once last year, we played a festival, and my younger daughter, she goes, Daddy, can we go home now? I'm like, are you bored? She's like, no, but you're playing the same song the same way every time. And it's just like, good fucking point. Yeah. So then Tom, right? Yeah. Because, and if you don't have them rehearse, you're getting something special. So every time somebody comes out to the show, even though they're hearing the same song, they're hearing it a different way every single time.
That's cool.
So that's the story of Tom. He adds that special essence to our live performance. Yeah. So we will incorporate his skills on the new stuff we're recording right now in the studio.
Do y'all have, what's the goal for what you're recording right now? You have a certain set recorded or written?
There's 3 tracks that we're going to be blasting out there probably early summer. I don't really want to give too much away on that because not really many people even know we're in the studio right now.
He can tell you the 3 working names we have.
You go ahead with that. Go ahead with that.
It's new song, the new song, and the new song.
I think we did. We had one of those.
Yeah.
Did you have one of those?
We did have one of
They're
those.
great.
Yeah,
they're
sometimes
great.
we get confused at practice. Like he goes like the new song. I'm like, do you mean the new song or do you really mean the new?
Yeah, and then I'm like, fuck, which one is that?
Then we have to. Yeah, it's not only what's the name, but which one are we talking about?
Right.
We all start different songs.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Oh, that's a new song. No,
new song.
So usually at practice, all our songs obviously have names, but I'll never use them at practice. I'm like, all right, guys, now we're playing Muscle Sandwich Vaginas. And they don't know. Yeah, they don't know what song
I put my sticks down when I heard that.
But usually Charles will pick up on the essence that's out there. And then we'll both look at Kevin like, you start this one, bro.
And I'm always like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Really, for me, all I know is like if they just stand there and look at me, it's like, oh, it's a Wi-Fi test.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
And I know it's either usually New Mexico. Well, no, never mind.
Yeah.
Well, this one's individual. Like each one will have to answer down the line. But how and when did you learn your instrument?
You want to start that
We
side?
can start with Charles.
Can we answer each other's questions? No.
That sounds better.
So, let's see. Well, I've played guitar since 12, 13. But anyways, played guitar for a long time. I was gonna start a band with a friend of mine. He had more equipment than me on the guitar side. So I got Paul McCartney that I got shoved into playing the bass because he had more equipment than me. And I was like, okay, well, we both can't play guitar, and so just ended up picking up a bass. And I've been doing bass for about 5 years ever since then. So that's kind of how I started the bass. It's not really that spectacular a story. Same bass story. Everybody. I play guitar and now I play bass.
It's almost like throw yourself in the pool and learn how to swim kind of thing.
Yeah, but see, I already had so many years of guitar, so I had some pretty big water wings. But that's my story.
So I wanted to be in band, but I didn't really. You know how like junior high, you're supposed to go to that summer before there's a camp to prepare you to be in band, which my parents dropped the ball, so. We tried to sign myself up like the start of school and the band, whatever leaders. I was like, yo, I want to play drums, and he's all like, no, you can't. It's too late, man. You need to do 3 months before that. He's like, you can play trumpet. I was like, man, I'm playing drums. We're going to the choir. So he put me on drums. So it was like that moment where there was a chance I never would have touched the drums if that guy was an asshole.
Kevin in choir.
Yeah, I know. I would have been hitting everyone in the nuts. What? You need to sing higher. Bam. But I wouldn't have done that, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, so I did the traditional junior high, and then I got my first drum set when I was 15. then I was joined my first band. I don't remember the name, but we played at the Hop. So that's how long I've kind of been playing around DFW. The Hop is where used to be where the Aardvark is.
Oh, wow.
Long time ago on Berry Street. Yeah. And then I met our old bass player, Matt, when I was 18. Started playing with him different bands. Anyways, and then I went to UTA for a while as a music major, but then I figured out that I liked engineering better. So, and then that's it.
You played in big jazz bands too, right?
Yeah. I played at UTA. I played jazz, and then in high school I played jazz band. I did marching band. I did the traditional. I had lessons, and then I'm a person that can always learn better out of a book, so I shied away from the teachers pretty quick and went my own path.
Pretty cool.
But I always kept music as a hobby than a profession at that time, which I'm kind of glad, because I think I wouldn't be here with this band, if I don't think, if you do music for a living, you either start teaching or you got to have a regular paying gig, so which means I probably would have been in the cover band circuit, more likely to make money, if I was playing drum sets. So I'm very happy with my choice, because I'm on this couch right now with these guys.
Very nice. That bread, man. That bread.
It's cheddar cheese. Wait, cheddar cheese and jalapeno. That's all right. That's all.
That's too funny.
So I started music when I was 16. I will not disclose my age.
Come on.
I can answer that for this.
No,
right
that's okay.
amount of
That's
money.
okay.
Right amount of money. Oh, it's a high dollar. It's like $1,000, and I'm gonna give you half of it. But
I'm 165.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I started when I was 16. Mine is kind of cheesy. Again, I'm the cheese though. I fell in love with this girl who was my best friend in the world. I mean, ever. Best
to this
friend.
Day?
No.
No.
But we're not enemies.
Yeah.
By far. I mean, if I called her up, it'd be like, hey, what's up? Whatever.
Right on.
That was a long time ago, though. So when I was 16, we were best friends. We weren't dating or nothing. And she went to go visit her grandpa in Florida. And again, I'm from Jersey, so. Yeah. And I realized the day after, oh my God, a large piece of everything to me is now missing in Florida. Girl wasn't my girlfriend. She was just my friend. But when she was gone, I was like, holy fuck, I miss this girl a lot. And so I wanted to do something special, and I was big into rollerblading. I had Rosies at the time. And, but I would hurt myself, like bust my ass all over the place. It is what it is. So my brother was friends with this dude who always was in love with my blades. That's what we called them back in the day, the blades. So
rollerblades?
No, they were rollerblades.
Yeah,
Sorry.
okay. Let's see. I totally spaced out and lost 5 minutes. And if you're
no,
talking
that's
about
okay.
rollerblades,
That's fine.
I got it right.
Yeah. No, you're on point. So anyway, so he knew this guy who loved my blades, but he had an Epiphone Les Paul guitar he was trying to get rid of. So I made a deal with him. I was like, Johnny, who's my brother, I was like, can you ask this dude if he could trade me my guitar for these blades? So he did, and I wrote this girl a song. I mean, it was 2 or 3 chords. I don't remember it right now. It was garbage, but it was my way of showing her that I was in love with her. So I showed her that, and she was like really taken back, but her mom had made a comment, Richard, you should really stick with music. And from that moment on, that was just like the drug, right? So now it's like, oh, I impressed somebody with something that I pulled out of my ass, I got to do this more. And that just became my obsession ever since that time.
That's cool.
Awesome, man.
That is cool.
Awesome.
That's kind of like me and my mom just mentioned drums, and I'm like,
Yeah.
It's just a real quick. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But I used to hit the pots and pans when I was a kid. That's what was my drum set. So that's usually my mom actually backed me up to make me a drummer, because she's all like, yeah, he'll go to choirs.
I still beat on pots and pans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was just
that is
bouncing
good.
off walls. I just had so
off
much
the wall,
energy.
okay.
She's like, you'd be a good drummer.
I would take them out myself and set them up, and like 4 or 5, she said, and just hit them. So.
I try to get my own. I have 2 daughters. I try to get them to play anything
That's
and
right.
everything. Just
That's awesome, man.
We play piano. Just do whatever.
That's what I have. I have 2 daughters also.
Yeah.
That's
Super
awesome.
young, and it's funny. 2 nights ago, I was. First of all, I hate iTunes, man. Did you feel the rage that I just sent you?
Yeah,
Like,
I definitely
hate
felt
it. I hate that it controls my devices, and
Well, it's a virus for sure.
Well, yeah, it's a virus, and I hate
that they have collaborated with U2 to take over our lives.
They just
I
dump
can't-
it in your phone like it's no
Here's
big deal.
here's what I was telling somebody the other day. I'm like, okay, why do you hate U2 so much? It's not that it's moderation, okay?
Yeah.
When I get in my car, say I'm on a fancy date, okay, and I want to impress this girl, nice car, come in my car and sit in my car. Only as soon as I start it, you better fucking be prepared for some U2 because that's instantly what's coming on because they're shoving it down your throat. Right? I'm sorry, I'm very intense about this.
Hilarious.
Could you?
It's not Joshua Tree.
No, it's this new stuff.
It's the new stuff.
That's not Shake, Rattle, and Hum.
No, it's like
See, I don't have a Mac product or anything, iTunes on any, never owned it or anything, so I do not have that problem.
it's insane.
It is
It
insane.
really is out of
nowhere.
control.
Out of nowhere. I'm like,
See,
how
to
the
be Mac
hell?
free
And how is
is
that?
good.
How is
U2
that
album,
not?
even-
How is that not infringing on my freedoms? Right? I
on your
feel
phone, right?
like,
Because Bono's won the biggest turd award.
but it's
Yeah, dude.
South Park.
it's
Yeah,
not
it's
fair.
number
Like,
2.
like I'm in my the privacy of my home.
Right.
I'm in the privacy of my vehicle. They're breaking and fucking entering
It's
my
true.
eardrums,
I mean,
bro.
imagine how easy that is. Like, what else can they just?
That's
drop
right.
in our-
That's
drop
exactly
in our
right.
phones, like,
That's exactly
wow.
right.
Like,
It's more insulting
never
because you're a
even-
musician. You're
Right.
like,
Yeah, and it's the new stuff where you can sell. They listen to what's kind of popular and they tried to emulate it. You know, kind of like Rush Presto's album. You're like, no, go back to your old stuff, Rush.
Yeah,
Do
right.
your proggy stuff.
true to
Don't try
you.
to make it mainstream. It's not gonna work.
Literally.
Yeah, I mean it's not a U2 thing. We wouldn't take
No.
this from anybody. It was-
That's what I'm saying.
No,
It don't.
yeah.
It's not. We're not hating on you too.
Right.
Bono takes the biggest football turds, right?
Well,
But
he's number 2.
right. But the thing is, man, it's anybody. I was like,
It's crazy, man.
sometimes I don't want to hear my own music. For real.
You get
I-
burnt out
but-
after a
but-
point.
playing it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think we would want to be on iTunes every time like it came up on somebody's.
Maybe U2 is trying to do a good thing. Maybe they're trying to connect people, right? Maybe they're like, oh, like right now, that same shit happens to me too. Maybe they're just trying to bridge us all together through hatred. I don't know.
It's just oversaturated.
And
like
what,
you don't wanna give
overthrow
too
them?
much
Yeah.
It's wild.
This is the rebellion.
I never thought anything like that could ever be possible. Just to dump something like that for free on your phone, like
Just-
out of nowhere.
I
man.
know.
Just,
See, I've never.
It's
I know I've
crazy.
heard it. It's just I've never had it. So like I've read the stories.
I've
and
never
everything.
heard it. I've just seen it on my phone. I'm like, how in the fuck? Did
It's
this get here?
anytime I connect a Bluetooth device. So every time I get in my car and it connects to Bluetooth.
Hey, no,
There it is.
Remember that day that
Anytime I'm
chick
in the
was
I'm
singing
going
on
to take a
that
shower
app?
this
Or-
morning.
anyway.
Guess my day is getting fucking started with U2. God forbid.
Was it like the first song starts with an AA or something?
It's just like,
the first
well,
song has
no,
stuff.
because I don't use iTunes, so it's the only thing on my iTunes. All the music that I have that I like, I don't really listen to music, right? I don't listen to a lot of music, so the music that I have is our music, which I have on Google Drive. So
yeah.
when I'm in my car, I put on Google Drive, I'm good to go. But unfortunately, again, once that Bluetooth connects.
It's anything. I mean, that's why radio will kill a song. It's like, yeah, it's a great song. I've just heard it too fucking much.
Portugal
Except-
the Man, feel it still.
Do y'all remember what's that radio station that just closed down and they played Closing Time for like 2 fucking days straight on repeat?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
I don't remember what.
Was it
I tuned in a few
97.1?
times.
Or 90, was it the Edge? Or yeah.
I turned in a few times.
They used to be
See,
94.5, and then we moved to 102.1. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
probably the only song in history that can get away being played on repeat because it's just like, okay, I get it.
Oh, it's a sad moment. Okay.
It
Yeah.
is a sad
I
moment.
thought it was just the usual like radio station. It's like,
Yeah, just play the same song
Yeah,
40 times.
no one's
Yeah.
listening to the station,
Yeah.
so no one noticed it.
No, but it was beautiful. I remember when it happened. I was driving into work, and it was just closing time. And then I was like, somebody had called me, and I was on the phone with them for like 10 minutes. And then it came back on again. I get off the phone with them, and his song is still on. I'm like, what's going on?
It paused.
Yeah,
just
it
for
was
you.
it was hilarious. What they did, that was genius. Whoever came up with that idea, it was brilliant.
Clearwater, a lot of people. Clearwater owns so many stations. They own the Edge. A lot of people dislike Clear. Anyways, I'm not getting into that. I don't know anything about it. All I know is they owned it. That's all I'm saying.
That's all we need to know.
Yeah, Clearwater
Clearwater?
Broadcasting. or
Clear
something.
Clear Channel.
Is it?
It's Clear Channel, I believe.
I
Gear
think it's
side.
Clearwater.
Little sweet
It
one.
might be. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
It's one of the two. Who knows?
It-
Clear
it,
something.
I mean,
Dude, I saw something on Facebook. You went to NAMM?
That's thanks to this guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He owns Geist Note cables and mail services.
Yeah.
They are a fantastic business.
Yeah. Well, what was the second part? I was like, he does the mail services.
I do.
Yeah, no.
I do the mail services.
No,
I mail things for him on his behalf. I go to the post office.
I started out.
No. Where were you thinking?
Yeah, I was thinking post office.
Mail service.
Mail service.
Hey man, he sells great to the 60-year-old ladies.
The 60-year-old ladies. Yeah, why not? Hey, no.
Actually, they're talking about armor. They make we make
chainmail.
chainmail.
Yeah,
is what
mail.
they
Chainmail
and
armor.
plate mail.
It's very protected.
So he makes shit. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Everyone knows what a ribbon. Well, I mean ribbon mics.
Right. Okay. Yes.
I got into modding them and stuff, and then I got interested. Then I started designing stuff, and I wanted to use better hookup wire. So I contacted this company. They talked me into becoming a dealer. So then I started making custom cables, and then I expanded. Now I have microphones and a bunch of other stuff that I sell. Yeah.
Nice, man.
Guys know. Yeah. So
Expanded into body armor.
Yeah. And chainmail. Not into battle axes yet. We have a good design. It's triple bladed. Yeah.
Triple.
Don't get him started on muskets, though.
Yeah. The
A
muskets.
whole
They're coming
nother
back.
Yeah.
Musket axe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Must get that axe.
yeah,
Must
must
get
get
that
that axe. Oh, that's even better. Let's do it. Anyways, yeah. I saw a lot on the internet. It's with the band and my day job. I don't have a lot of time to kind of service the local community because I would love to be able to consult someone, come in and then talk about it and whatever and figure it out. I just don't have the time for that. Hopefully in the future I will. So I don't really advertise too much local, but you should check it out if you need cables or whatever. Ribbon mics too.
Snake cables.
The
everything.
Apex that he has.
Yeah,
buy
the
from
Apex
him.
747, right?
Man, the Apex has
bro.
turned their name around. They're
Really?
like the Canadian MXL, but like a
That's
1,000
why
times
they're so
better than
hard to
MXL.
find,
Yes.
man. So hard to
MX. Well, I shouldn't really say anything, but I do not like
They're all
MXL
great. They're all
all
great.
that much.
I think-
prefer Apex.
But his cables aren't like you would go and just buy the cables. You'd have to be an audiophile. Like
Yeah,
his
they're a little
cables
more
are
expensive,
super high end. Like,
Very nice. Super
I'm not
short.
saying numbers out loud, but
No, but they are. But I do have affordable ones too. The studio ones, like the microphone cables.
I guess it's a relative statement.
Yeah, instrument cables, like are the ones, the evidence audio and stuff. They get up there, man.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
but yeah,
Man,
I'll give you my card after.
please do,
Yeah,
because
'cause
I
you're-
literally
Excuse me, you're a gear nut like me. Like your house looks like my
love
house.
gear.
Yeah.
Yes. Eat,
Right?
eat
We
sleep,
say that,
breathe
yeah.
gear.
Doesn't the is it the bassist or something from Midlight uses your cables as well?
Yeah,
right?
they
In their studio, right?
Right, and they on tour the Midlake. They use the Reveal cables. I think. At least I sold it to them. They did it one time.
So there's some pretty well-known,
Yes.
reputable people that utilize this cable.
And Pink Floyd, he loves the melody. The thing with it, once you plug it in, you just got to A/B it. You can actually hear the difference. It's not.
Wait,
There's no. You can't. It's not even really reason
you
to
just
like
say
market it.
Yeah, did you refer to Pink Floyd as a person?
Mr.
Yeah.
Pink Floyd. One of the guys from Pink Floyd.
By the way,
That's
which one's
dope,
pink?
Yeah. So
That's a dope.
Not
the
Floyd.
yeah. So man, they really like the cables because they
Wow.
sounded really well.
That is awesome,
yeah.
dude. I honestly wish I would have known this. I literally bought like a 40s RCA very acoustic ribbon microphone.
Yeah.
And I got it, dude. The magnet was just.
Did you
wobbling
send it to
inside.
Steven Sang?
I sent it back and got a refund. 'Cause I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't
There's
know
like
who-
3 guys. I
Yeah.
can do it. There's 4 guys. Me, a guy named Michael Jolie, Steven Shank, which used to work at RCA, and then
Oh,
another
wow.
guy called Michael Farabee.
Name drop.
This is yeah, dude. This is
For him, I don't know him.
No.
I said he
Yeah.
can do it. I have no idea who
I
he
don't
is.
even know what
This
y'all
is
talking
This
about.
is much needed. This is much needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely get your card. Anybody else? What was the cable name again?
Oh,
Geist Note cables.
Geist Note, yeah,
Geist Note. Geist Note. Very cool, man. Very cool.
Who does y'all's first album came out in like 2011?
2010. And that was
2010.
a solo acoustic album.
Okay.
Very funny album if you listen to it, knowing this information, because people don't realize it. They're like, man, that sounds a lot more mellow and straightforward. But and the vocals, not just the music, the vocals. It's because I had recorded it at a friend's house of mine who had a home studio, and he was living with family, and it was be quiet. It's right. So I had to sing all the vocals
at no louder than like this volume to get the point across. So I'm sitting at a computer. I didn't have correct body posture because he let me use his gear. So I'm sitting in there singing into this microphone, trying, not to get the spacebar sound and doing all this stuff, trying to.
That's wild.
Yeah, and trying to keep it under a certain volume. So if you listen to my voice on the first album, you can kind of tell, knowing that I'm trying to hold back and keep quiet because I don't want to wake other people up. Yeah,
that's great. Just to add on top of that, I recently saw like a little interview. I guess there was just something talking about the '80s gated reverb sound. It was just a short little video. They said that Prince tracked his vocals sitting down behind the console, all by himself. Obviously, he could, sing what wasn't quieted down. But
I believe that because I watched something about Prince, and it turns out that Prince, I think it was I didn't watch. It was KXT when he had passed away. I mean, it just like when any reputable artist passed away, they give you a plethora of information. And what they had said is that he straight up recorded nonstop on that tour bus. Like he had console in there, and he had
drum machines.
I think he had
drums.
He had like a female engineer who her job was purely to be ready to record him because he might come off the stage, get back in the bus, and want to throw down something brand new.
That's wild.
Yeah, she was the one giving the interview, actually, talking about it. And like his drums on the records were a drum machine. Yeah, they said. So it's wild.
Which album?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh no, I'll be curious.
No,
man.
I have no idea.
The beat to that sexy motherfucker.
Right. So I'm sure you can find it because the whole video is like, why is '80s gated reverb so popular now, or why is it coming back? You just type in '80s gated. I
think
reverb
I saw
video.
that.
That's like this girl talking about it, and there's other producers like.
That was what was it like the?
It was on Facebook or something.
Biggest purveyors of it was it Phil Collins and Peter Gabriel?
Yes, dude, that's exactly.
Oh, that's right. The drum sound they got was actually a large diaphragm condenser in the room, set as a talkback mic. And what happened was they had it super crunched and compressed, and then they were like, wait, let me hear the toms again through that talkback mic. And that's exactly. That's how they got the sound.
It was
it was the flipping '80s from then on, dude.
Yeah, it was. I think what it was is.
Yep.
Peter Gabriel had been doing 100%. It for a while, and Phil Collins he's like, how'd you do that? He's like, oh, easy, just get your drums out and take off all the cymbals. Like don't play no cymbals and do that and then slap on the reverb. But that's a pretty cool story.
Gated reverb, man.
But how they did it was a talkback mic.
Yeah,
that's how they figured it out.
Fun.
Yeah.
That's
wild.
pretty
Sure.
awesome.
It's funny you say that. Take the cymbals off. I had a friend in high school. He was, outstandingly incredible musician. Outstanding. But it was one of those when I was in high school, having a home studio was not the norm. We had 4 tracks on tape. You know what I mean? So it was very limited on what you can do, but what he would do he would record individual drums to his songs. Like Tom.
No way.
Tom. Oh yeah, Tom. Kick drum.
I don't see how that's.
He did it, dude. I couldn't do it either, but he did it.
I can tell you an album that's supposedly
Metallica.
done on. No, it's actually Queens of the Stone Age, Songs for the Deaf. Supposedly
Dave Grohl?
Yep.
Wow.
Supposedly when
I
they
don't
recorded
see him
that, they
doing
recorded
that, though.
each tom and everything separately. And when you listen to it, it sounds real crisp and real clean. But it might be BS because they've been known to just BS about what they do in the studio.
Who knows,
it.
right? Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
So
I can't speak to that.
I can't. I don't know either. So.
That's wild.
But I've always only heard rumors about the individual drum. I've never looked it up and tried to prove it. Or
I
seen a
know
video
my
or
friend did this because I've seen him do it.
Sorry, not you. I'm talking about the famous thing.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and all that.
It's one of those things that's like.
I don't think I could do it.
Dude, it takes the feel out. But my friend wasn't a drummer. He was a good, incredible songwriter and guitarist.
But when the beat, it's kind of
simple,
simple,
simple, dude. 4/4.
Oh, okay. Now I could
but
do that.
just the isolated
right?
drums made everything come through clear.
That and the bass drum, doom, guy, doom.
Yeah.
I've thought about it when Matthew's not here. If I'm doing a little song, I want to add drums. I'm like, well, shit, I obviously can't play, just like you were saying earlier. I can fiddle, but I'm not gonna sound like Matthew. Or
Right.
anything.
It's
Sound
So
amazing
I'm
like
well,
Matthew.
maybe I could just boom, 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 boom.
Right.
But I'm just like, no fucking way. That's like 8 tracks. I gotta line it all up.
Right.
How are you gonna do that?
Oh, yeah.
I'll just play. I'll just jam it.
Right.
Just to get the idea across somehow.
Yeah.
That's man. That takes time. I bet. Time and patience.
What's this is my favorite question.
Sure.
What's some of your most embarrassing mistakes on stage?
Does it have to be on stage?
I guess not.
There's some pretty embarrassing moments we've had as the three of us. I mean, I wouldn't call it embarrassing, right? Because you're in a band, it's hard to be embarrassed because you got your crew with you. It's like you're in this together.
Squad.
So yeah, you're squad.
So
Whatever
your own little bubble, you don't think about it. Everyone else is
Yeah.
all like, oh my god.
It's different when you're alone as an artist than when you're with your team, you know?
That's true.
So any foul, you've got two other people that got your back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we never fuck up, right?
Yeah.
No, never.
I don't really hit
No,
embarrassing. I've hit moments where it's like that would be embarrassing for somebody else other than me.
Charles rolls with
I've-
anything.
I don't think I have shame, just not that much of it.
Like performance-wise, today we had the privilege of performing in your studio. I personally feel like I give myself a fucking 6 on that. You know, like that's me.
Yeah,
but
you
it is what it is.
Well, mine was gonna be 5.9.
5.9 for me. For me.
For you, no, for me.
For you?
Just,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
trying to make. No,
But
I
here's
was
a story.
12.
The first thing that popped into my mind when you said embarrassing is we had a show in Austin at the Swan Dive. Swan Dive in Austin. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful venue, man. It was so pretty. All white inside, like like
all
the
liked
walls are white, the ceiling's white, the booths are all
Yeah,
white
that trip
leather.
was just
There are white curtains on the wall behind the stage. It just felt like you were in a movie set. It was so cool. You know, it was like something out of Eyes Wide Shut almost. You know, like this just random. I don't know.
A small amount of stress
So-
just thinking about that trip already.
I know. So we're down there and we play the set and it's time to go. Okay, it's time to go.
Oh, you think it's
You
over,
gotta
right?
say like what we decided to try to go down there, which he had not done before.
Wait, what?
We had never used a trailer.
Oh yes. So we got a trailer. We got a U-Haul
we
trailer.
could all fit in the same.
We've never used a trailer because usually we'll have a vehicle that's big enough to throw. Because we're a 3-piece.
Yep.
You got a vehicle that's big enough to throw everything in there. But this time I'm like, oh, let's fucking just get a trailer. And like we were bringing Tom, the trombonist.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So we needed another seat. So, I can get a deal. I get a discount at U-Haul through blah, 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 you know. So I got this trailer. And, we got down there, no problem. Okay, so we got down there, no problem. And when it was time to pick up the gear, Kevin went to the parking lot that the trailer was in, and he got it and he pulls it up. It's like, I'm going to pull it in the alleyway between the venue and this other building next to the venue. There's just, I swear, dude, there was nowhere else to put it. We're like, brilliant idea.
It worked to
Brilliant.
unload when we got
Absolutely
there.
fantastic
Remember,
idea.
It worked there to
So he
unload,
pulls in,
but not to load out.
and the trailer is ass out, so we can load gear in from the door of the venue. Nobody thought about getting out of this motherfucker. Nobody.
6th Street, dude, you can't.
Nobody thought about getting out of this fucking predicament. There were herds of people. There was no brakes. There were so many people, and now it was like there was a car parked in front of our car in the alleyway.
All of us sober. Well, one person might have been drinking a little bit, but all of us were sober.
Yeah, I was sober. And it was a shit moment, and it was like, okay, it's Kevin's car, so Kevin's got to look like the asshole right now. Shotgun, not asshole right now. So
I don't care, by the way. I'm pretty blunt.
yeah, he didn't care.
The best
really
part about
don't.
it is anytime we started moving, like everybody on the street was like thinks they have to assist, like
Right.
but they don't stop
Gosh.
walking or like get out of your way. They just
just
yell
kept walking.
what you should be doing while walking. Like
So
and
I'm back
none
there,
of them agree.
and the way that the lip of the road was to the drive, no matter how he backed up, it kept coming.
It's
a
one of those
different way.
short trailers, too. You know, the shorter the trailer, the harder it is to control.
4x8.
If it was
Yeah.
Longer, we would have been okay because it's a wider turn base. But a little tiny wheel thing goes, jackknife it immediately. Go ahead.
So he's backing out, and there was there's like a triplet of douchebags walking by, and he almost nails him, and I'm like, Kevin, because I'm the guy like, all right, I'll go and I'll hold off traffic, like my 142-pound body versus SUVs. I got you, bro. You know. Yeah. So I go out there and I'm stopping traffic, and he's like, oh no, and the frustration had a scent of its own. It really did. You could taste it in
like
the air.
The three guys almost hit, right?
So I'm like, Kevin, just go, pull in. No, I think it was even him. He was like, oh, we need to fucking refigure out what the fuck is going on.
Go back to the three dudes. They were like, fuck you. And I was like,
they were like,
fuck you, Kevin. Because I had been trying to do it for 10 minutes, and I think they looked, and they just kept on walking. They're like, okay.
So now
there's
just herds of people. Now it's to the point where, okay, this is that moment we're going to look back on, and we're going to be at Retro Lab Records telling this story in a year from now.
Exactly.
So then he pulls up. I'm like, Kevin, I think we can make it through.
It was my dad's car. I was being extra cautious.
I was like, I think we can make it through if we just take it straight ahead. If we just take it through between this dumpster, there was a dumpster, and there was these cars over here.
Yeah, with some jackass that parked in an alleyway.
That guy went to park there, and it was my dad's car, and he was already. He didn't want me really to take it. I tell he's being nice, but it's an older car. It's already got 90,000 bucks.
So anyway, I mean the story is not that great, but I go out of the car and I'm like, all right, Kevin, I'll direct you. I know we can do this. I know it. I just knew it, dude.
Yeah, there was you on one side and a homeless
guy
on the other
that's
side.
Where I'm getting. That's where I'm getting. So I walk down this alleyway. In front of the vehicle in the direction in which we were going to go, and there's these dumpsters over here, and there's these homeless guys picking trash out of the dumpster. There's two of them, I think. One of them walked away, but there was this other guy still putting trash in the bag. I'm like, hey man, just be careful. We're gonna start getting this vehicle through here, and there's no room. So if you could just move over a little bit. This guy starts helping me.
Yeah, he was
so now it's me and this unfortunately homeless individual.
I think he was also drunk.
He was really hammered.
He was like,
and we're just
he's ready to help.
We're both directing Kevin with this massive audience of people on the street.
Oh my gosh.
To me, that is the first thing I think of when I think of like an embarrassing moment.
There was one point when I was trying to back up that the people actually stopped and they were clapping and all that.
Oh, that's right.
That was right before I hit the guys, and I was like, fuck you.
Yeah, like there was a moment.
They all just shut up. They're all like, oh wait.
There was like it must have been like a sorority sister party walking down the street at the same time this was happening, and they were applauding him. Like I could feel the pressure he was under because he had an audience, man.
Right?
Like huge audience.
I was trying to do it quick to not inconvenience anyone. I hate inconveniencing people, man.
Yeah, you can do it. There's something about that pressure.
How's this going to affect the people behind me when I'm driving? You know what I mean? That was what was stressing me out because I was holding all these people up.
Yeah.
You're trying to not inconvenience
them,
but they're just totally ignoring you. They're just like.
Other embarrassing things, I usually half the time forget the lyrics to the song while I'm singing the song. That can be embarrassing, especially when your fans notice that. Yeah. And they do.
Yeah.
And they let you know. Not a problem. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So did you just change up those lyrics or what?
Like, how did they, what did they say?
Why did you not sing that right?
Holy shit.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Why'd you sing the first verse
like
3 times?
Like, that's not what I paid for.
You come a long way. You know sing right.
Yeah,
I didn't mean it like that. I was probably Susie, wasn't it?
That's a lot of different people.
Oh, to the other story, we're never fucking taking a trailer ever again. Unless
no.
Yeah, right.
I'm talking the same size as a car. So
yeah,
trailer plus not a small one.
Lesson learned, man. Like, unless it's your trailer, it's not set up for gear because it's, we're a small amount of musicians.
It was a great idea. We tried it.
But there's too much room, even in their small trailers.
Yeah.
Shit just.
And maybe if it
around.
wasn't in a downtown area, that was the main problem. So
Yeah.
Anyways, that's it for the trailer story. I just want to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry that story wasn't as good as it should have
At
been.
least it didn't say Henry the Archer like in big letters on the trailer, so everyone's like,
Yeah,
who the fuck
right.
is Henry the Archer?
I know, right?
We had thought about that. Thank God we didn't buy one.
Right.
Yeah.
We would have burned
Magnets.
it after that.
That would be
Done
like
an insurance claim.
Hey, look at that! That's that band that got stuck up in Austin.
Yeah.
That one
It's all
shit.
over the Austin
It's on the
Times.
news. You guys back
Front
it out.
page.
Something that would happen to Michael Scott from The Office.
Yeah.
There's something stupid like that, and you're like, really?
We got
Oh,
this.
God.
All right, favorite. Would you say that was one of your favorite venues, or what's your favorite venue you've ever played?
Favorite venue ever played?
Ever played?
Shoddy not going first. I got to think. I got to give real thought to this. It's hard. Here,
I can't answer that.
Because
Kind of hard. Yeah.
it's hard to say venue, right? Because then you're just asking us essentially who has the best sound. Because the best show is not always the best venue, right?
Yeah. See, my opinion on the best
I've had
venue
some really
is
good shows in a garage.
It's not the best show. But my favorite venue of Fort Worth isn't even open anymore, and that was the Warehouse. And never played with this band there. And it was a weird place. It was like you go in there and there'd be people skateboarding through it, or they wouldn't have their alcohol license, or that there's just somebody napping beside the stage, or there's a puddle of water from the roof leaking on to the middle of the stage, and you're getting shocked while you played. But it was awesome. The place was great.
My favorites are basically any place that is too small for its PA system. Any place that's too small for its PA system is my favorite place to play, whatever place that is. A good example would be the comic book shop, right? The one by Division, the new Growl.
Slowly becoming one of my favorite spots.
I love that. I love that place, man.
I didn't know they had a stage or anything.
They don't. But their PA system is way too big for that little dude.
Yeah, so
you're literally inside of your song, performing inside of your song, because the sound is vibrating through you. Because the space is too small for the sound system. I fucking love that shit.
That's freaking.
I'm just a big fan of like house shows and small venue shows. Because you could play. I mean, we've played in front of thousands of people on massive stages, and it's fun. But dude, when you're just fucking ass tight in a room with people, and
Intimacy.
the sound is just traveling through everybody's body. It's like everybody, you're all one spirit, and that's what makes a fucking show.
Yeah, man, that's so true. That's a good point.
We did have he busted my amp one time with his cymbal.
Yeah.
And then
the cymbal is called Shocky now.
It's called Shocky. It created a minor explosion.
The long story short, we were all setting up. I
Tripped over my cymbal stand. It falls, slow motion, hits this guitar cable while plugged in. Big spark and smoke. We blew the thing. And it has a hole in this.
It blew the fuses to the
Cut.
Yeah, it has 3 perforated holes in this.
Cut the power to the amplifier. Like there's spark marks on both the cymbals. The funniest though is like that happened. It's like, oh God, what would? Well, first of all, if somebody was touching that cymbal, that would have sucked.
Yeah, so I was trying. So my subconscious was trying to kill Richard that night.
Second of all, the best part was like, as soon as it happened, it's like, what are we gonna do? This dude at the front stage is like, I'm an electrician.
Well,
I'll
no,
fix
he was. So, to our men and women in the services, we want to thank you because one of them was in the audience that day, and it was like 5 minutes till we're about to go on, and this shit happens, right? Wow. Completely intentional, by the way. Completely intentional.
No.
Anyway, shit falls, spark. Half the fucking lights go off because it blew a fuse, right? And I'm like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? And then this dude runs up. I was an electrician in the military. I could take care of that for you. And I'm just like,
He's ready to work.
yeah, and I'm like, guys.
Where have you?
I'm like, guys, do you know this guy? And nobody knows this fucking guy. He just came out of nowhere like, I could fix that shit for you.
He was with one of the other bands.
Yeah, I still don't know who he is.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so he takes my amp and disappears.
Oh man.
Fucking gone. Don't know where he is. I'm looking around. I'm like, anybody know that guy? Fucking like minutes go by. He shows up with my amp fixed, puts it on, plugs it in, and we fucking hit set right on time. It was magical, man.
That was Jesus.
It was. It was
Hey, man,
Jesus.
Jesus.
I heard you had a problem. I'm
It
gonna
was.
fix it. I'll be right back.
It was. But that shows you like the experience for the band is just as much as it is for the audience. And like what we were saying before, it's that spirit the whole room has, right? Because that moment, I don't know that guy, but he's part of this moment now. You know what I mean? It connects us all. It's fucking awesome. Yeah.
That was really cool, man.
Do you guys have like a photographer or an artist you work with to do your artwork, your album covers?
We have a little bucket of photographers, you know. We let them out every once in a while. But usually we have a couple go-tos. Jessica Waffles of the Waffles Weekly.
Shout out.
Shout out, holler. Dustin Schneider of Plastic Object Photography. And Zach. I can't forget Zach.
John Irwin, of course. Zach.
Zach is T-Rex.
Yeah,
Is that
T-Rex.
Zach? Okay. Yeah.
Can we get T-Rex out here real quick? Can we get her in the show real quick?
Come
We get her in the shot, please.
Everyone has
I'm having a Nick
see.
fit. I can smoke some cigarettes.
Yeah, let's get her in here real quick. Get her in here real quick.
The videographer.
This is a.
Yes, sit down. Yes, welcome.
Yes.
So.
Now let's just tell
So,
the story.
so check it out.
You're Kevin. You're a character now.
So recently,
Just
so-
man the camera.
Wait,
Yeah,
so
so
I'm
hold
the
on.
jalapeno cheese bread? Am I the
so
jalapeno cheese
to
bread
answer
now?
your question,
jalapeno cheese.
John Irwin, Jessica Waffles, Zach. What's his last name again? I'm so bad
Oh,
at that shit.
Zach Dyke.
Dyke, that's right.
It's a
Zach
very
Dyke, we love
unfortunate
you.
name.
It is.
But
It's unfortunate. Yeah.
So,
that's him.
so,
Mad love though.
and Dustin Schneider, those four. But I met this young lady because I was doing a little acting for our buddy photographer Zach, and I happened to run into her and was not expecting to see her today. So it's awesome. That's why I wanted to pull her on camera
Yes.
because I feel like third
Such a
time's a
small
charm.
world.
I'll
Well-
see this later on down the road. There's a third time. Boom.
Yes. That's
Well,
true.
plus, haven't we done a podcast before where I was absent?
Yes.
And we,
Oh yes, we did a podcast. We did the Jerry Jonestown massacre. Was it the Jerry Jones? No, it was the Funky
It
Town
was It was
podcast.
Funky Town podcast.
Massacre.
Yeah, you should check those guys out.
That's
Oh,
really-
yeah,
They're really
a lot of
funny. They're
fun.
raunchy, but they're really funny. Don't
Yeah.
listen when your
Cool.
kids are around, but
Yeah.
it's a good
Yeah.
listen. And
Yeah.
so is the
Nice.
Funky Town podcast.
Yeah,
That's
Funky
awesome.
Town podcast is great too.
But there was a time. Was it you or Kevin?
It was me that wasn't there.
So he couldn't make it to the interview, the
Yeah.
podcast interview. So we had Rebecca Elizabeth from iHappyM/Mean Motor Scooter
Oh yeah. Yep.
fill in as Charles. So
Yeah,
the whole
she's-
podcast, we would be referring to her as Charles, and she would just respond as
Yeah.
if she was in the
That's
band.
Hilarious.
funny.
That's great.
Sometimes you got to do what you
yeah,
got to do.
it was
So,
well worth it.
So Kevin, back to drums. Like you
Yeah.
were.
You know, I
Mhm.
drum hard and I
He drums
play
hard, he does.
fast
Yeah.
and you know 1,000% all the
Oh,
time.
1,000.
You know,
Yeah.
just
Whoa.
very picky about my kick pedal and
Very, very, a little over the top.
You had to.
Yeah.
I'm just going off of what I saw today.
Wait,
I have no
Are you
idea.
being coached, Kevin, from from over off of the camera?
I'm new, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
mix
know,
up
just-
words.
Make up all my drum terms.
Have y'all seen the whatever y'all shot yet? Have you seen what you shot with
No.
Zach? No.
No,
You haven't seen that?
no, but here's the thing. I don't want to go too far into this, but can I get this off my chest? I've never
Take it
done
away.
acting. I've never
Oh,
done
yeah,
acting.
yeah.
Gotta see it.
And so I was a
You
little
were the most-
intimidating.
You were the most
I was a little
amazing
intimidated.
Russian hitman
Was I?
I've ever seen. Like, I can't wait.
A Russian
Uh,
hitman.
He was a Russian
dude,
hitman.
I played a
gotta see
Russian.
this.
And-
I was intimidated because I felt like everybody was so talented.
Oh my god.
Everybody had done it before, clearly, and I just don't. Like, I'm very.
You couldn't tell.
You couldn't
really,
tell?
You really couldn't tell. Like, and even so, there's this part. They're doing this like interview, hitman to client, I
Right.
guess. And he's just making shit up the entire time.
Yeah.
He's just like Mr. Sweater Vest, and
Yeah.
I'm
Mr.
I'm
fucking
holding,
Sweater Vest.
I'm holding lights, and I'm trying not to like laugh and like shake really hard because I'm like,
So.
and the phone rings, and he just plays it off. He's like, and somebody gets the fucking phone.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And
Just
then
do
looks
it.
back and he
That's
just
awesome.
smiles and he's like, "I'm sorry, I just couldn't help
gotta
it."
stay in
Like,
character when you do
dude, like
stuff
you were
like that.
so
That's
good.
so
I
I
can't
appreciate
wait for
that. There was one take
man.
where I felt really happy about it. Like everybody, and then when it was done, even Zach was like, "Yeah, it was fucking awesome." And like everybody in the room was like, "Oh, there was this air of like, man, there was a lot of tension in that. It felt good." And then the director of photography is like, "I didn't have the zoom set properly for that. Can we do it again?" And I'm like,
Oh no.
"No!" And then it's never the same the second time. So I'm just trying to re-emulate what already happened, and I just hope it turns out great. I know I'm in good hands. I know I'm in hands of professionals.
Yeah,
So
That's awesome.
they'll make it look like
Is there a name
I
for
knew
it?
what I was doing. It's Hello Henry.
Hello, Henry.
Hello Henry.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
short film.
It's gonna be
That
great.
is awesome.
Yeah,
That is
I was
awesome.
glad to be a part of it for
T-Rex.
sure.
Anyone wanting camera work from T-Rex? T-Rex
T-Rex
Productions.
Yep.
Yes.
Productions.
Hit a girl up.
My actual
Ollie.
name's Tanner, but
Tanner,
like,
Tanner.
everyone always remembers T-Rex. Occasionally, people call me TJ, and I'm like, whatever. You know what? As long as you know who I am. It's cool.
Right.
But yeah, T-Rex, Tyrannosaurus Rex. You know,
Right
I'm out and
on,
about
right
all the
on.
time, so
Badass.
We love everything you do.
I'll let the real jalapeno cheese bread come back.
Oh,
Now.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Get that faux
Thank
shit
you.
out.
Thank you.
All right, what else we got? What else? What else? How your creative process? You guys write? How does that happen? You have an idea, you come together.
Yeah, I'll hammer that shit to the ground. I'll bring it to practice. Like I said, I don't have anything to do with what you hear from these guys, but I take complete control over structure. I have to, but we're synced, right? So like, what I choose the structure to be, these guys are pretty much, I'm pretty sure, would hit the same structure. You know what I'm saying? It's just the vibe. So the overall final sound is all three of us.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, from my point of view, he brings in like basically a song more or less, and it's like I want this to happen and do it, and then we'll run through it, and either that will happen or we'll be like, yeah, that's not working.
Yep.
Well, let's do this instead, and then it's like, okay, yeah, that's working. Oh, that makes it better, and make it better even if we cut out this part and replace it with it. I mean, it's really like start with this little thing and then bounce it back and forth for a couple weeks until.
And then even if we make changes, he'll still take it home and then make the final decision whether he likes it or not, and then bring it back, with the final, like, this is what we're doing.
Because the philosophy is like I have to be able to sing to it, right? Yeah. So that's the card I pull.
Yeah, that's
if I'm like, guys, I vocally I want to go here and we're here. Yeah. Let's just change it a little bit, and it's effortless. None of us argue with one another. I appreciate them and love everything that they do.
That's awesome.
And our goal is just to make the best songs that we can make.
Yeah, that's why you guys work so well together.
So well.
Yeah, he lets me. He lets us He lets me play a jazz beat in the middle of a punk song, so I'm happy.
That's great.
That's y'all sound. Man, you can hear it through and through. It's amazing. It's really special when you can find 3, 4, even 2 people that can work so well together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is so
I
hard.
found over my years of experience with bands, anything over 3 is super difficult to click and make sure the personalities align and everything's groovy.
Right.
Right?
Friends,
3 in itself,
married, basically,
2 is like almost, but 4, it just seems exponentially more difficult.
So
3
much.
is is a perfect.
When you have 4, you're almost always gonna have that one person out of 4 that's like, I don't, I'm not sure.
Right.
People can kinda
That's the other thing that's very important. I would they're officially Henry the Archer. You know what I mean? Like that. To me, that is something that's earned. These guys will not miss a practice. They will be there before I even get to practice. You know what I mean? And they have so much to offer. It's fucking dope. You know what I'm saying? So it's that has its value, man. That has its value, and it makes the Henry the Archer name more valuable by adding their value to it.
Well, the only reason I'm there before him is I live there because I'm late to everything. That's one point.
I was about to say, yeah,
he is.
live in the practice.
Hey, I know my faults.
He lives at practice.
I know my fault.
He lives at practice.
A lot
but
of times,
he's still late.
Charles beats me
still
there.
late. Still fucking late.
Well, I'm coming from work.
Oh, what time is it? Oh shit!
To start jamming.
No, my problem is I figured it out.
too
I
familiar.
live on 28-hour days, so my sleep schedule's constant. There's gonna be a day where I stay up all night to catch back up, but that's the reason I'm bad with time.
It is, dude. It is so true.
And I always think I have more time than I do.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why we end up staying up late.
Mhm.
You're not tired, one.
Right.
It's more shit you can do.
If I was just sitting around doing nothing, then I would be like, "Why are you late?" But that's not the case.
That's never the case, man.
You guys are playing Fortress Festival.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. There's some pretty sweet acts on there.
Yeah, it should be pretty fun.
When is that?
That is going to be April 28th and 29th at the Fort Worth. What is it? The
Kimball.
No, not the Kimball. It's the Modern Art Museum and Will Rogers.
Oh yeah.
Will Rogers.
yeah.
So a lot of people, there's this misconception where it's just a music festival, but there's so much more to it than that. It's the 2 guys that put it on. It's really an art festival. Awesome music, but it's surrounded by art museums. So that's included in your ticket and what have you.
That's cool.
As far as what I know, and if it's not, that's fine. Just break in. That shit is right next to where all the bands are playing.
What have y'all played Fortress before? Is it newer or?
This is the second year.
Oh,
It's like,
wow.
okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Last year, Run the Jewels was the headliner,
Oh, wow.
and this year it's Father John Misty and Courtney Barnett.
Courtney Barnett.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm super excited about this.
Yeah, it should be a fun. It should be a fun time.
That's awesome.
That's
man.
cool.
Yeah.
Stoked for that. Man, I think we've been through almost everything.
Any other like bigger festivals that y'all are booked for? Anything
Not
like
right
that?
now. Really, what I wanted to do was take this time to really throw down. So when we finished recording the last album, there was a song that I wanted to put. Here's a perfect example of what we were talking about earlier. There's a song called Pain, and I had wrote it about the recording of Zero is a Number. So it was lyrically, it was all about, it still is all about the writing of that album and the process and the battles, you know. I wrote it on what's called a gitalele. It's like a 6-string ukulele, and it's in the key of A. It's a gorgeous instrument. It's really fun. So I recorded it. We got it mastered, everything. Nobody but me has heard this song, right? At this time, not right now.
Yeah.
And then I was really iffy on my chorus vocal choice and what I decided to do. So much so that I asked for his honest opinion. And it was, why would you do that? And then it turned into, okay, that's not going on the album.
I worded it.
You worded it more kindly.
I did because I am.
did, but
I
I
am
know-
bad. I have no filter, but I did. I was very especially careful on that because it's your vocals.
Yeah.
I was very
So-
nice on that one.
So then, because I already had the question mark, I wasn't comfortable with how I sounded in the chorus of the song. So I'm like, you couldn't get used to it.
Like
so
it's cool, but then you're like, why?
it almost, yeah.
It scared you.
Yeah, it was very uncomfortable. It was super falsetto part. It was just a super riding falsetto part, and it fit, but it was like a really stretch fit, you know. Anyway, so we took it off, and I'm like, man, we brought it to practice. We were playing it, and it turned in the sour note I was playing in the bridge of that song turned into be the sour note I'm now playing in the chorus of the song. Had a little bass in the motherfucker. Said, hey, we need a little horn section. So hit up fucking Tom. There's a horn part in there, and now it'll be released. So while we're tightening up this song that was supposed to be on the last album, which we were going to record, oh whoops, there's another song. Oh whoops, here's a third song. So we're trying to record, but we keep making fucking music. So it's really hard.
Of it, right?
Yeah, it's really fucking hard. So we called it on 3 for this release. No more writing songs.
And our schedules, all personally and band, so crazy.
It's so crazy.
It's hard to even.
Yeah. So I have there's more new songs, right, and ideas, but they're all on my phone. You know, like the trick is right now, don't bring new ideas to the table right
we
now.
We can't.
No new ideas.
Till we're done.
So
Are you guys
Because
playing?
of course you want to jam new stuff. That's the whole.
Right.
The beauty is finding that thing, that new
Right.
sound, and playing that new song.
Right. What were you gonna say?
Have you played any of the new songs
Yes.
live?
Yes.
Because at Caves, I heard a song.
Yeah, you
that I
heard 2 new
fucking
songs.
love.
One of those was Pain, and
Okay.
the other one was She's a well.
What's the one?
I don't want to give you a song name because it might change.
It was.
That's the new song.
That's the new, not the triple new.
There was one. It was like and then you did the chorus was always like.
That's the new song.
That's the new song.
Dude,
That
Yeah.
is so. That song was sick, man.
Yeah.
I love the
man.
dynamics of that.
The one that had the acid trip polka in the
Right
middle.
now,
Yes.
right now it's called She's a Violin. That's She's a Violin, but the name is gonna have violin in it. So if you're looking for that song in the future, it will have that. What the actual name is gonna end up being, I don't know yet.
Okay.
Cool.
Dude, the new songs are a lot more breakneck than like anything else we've ever done.
I don't know what breakneck means.
They're a little bit more like,
A million miles per hour.
Oh yeah, they're more crazy.
Yeah, they're definitely like a little edgier. That's the word.
That's
would
the
use.
word.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
the
like,
word.
I
don't-
was thinking like
Yeah.
on the neck of the guitar, like it's really bright.
Oh, is that what that means?
Yes, but no.
Oh, okay, cool. No, I'm learning. I learned a new word.
Yeah, no, I
That's
never
good.
heard it
That-
either,
I'm
but
not
I don't
being an
read,
asshole.
so.
I'm seriously.
I made that up.
That's good. I like that word.
Dude,
I like that.
I was testing y'all.
You know I'm not gonna know if a word's real or not.
You know.
Wait, that sounded pretty bad.
Let's
Like
get an axe.
personality.
Let's get the axe.
Yeah.
Is
we pop
Fortress
off.
Festival the next soonest available date you're playing, or what is the next?
It's the
show?
next soonest available date that I'm advertising that we're playing.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
'Cause I want to see you again.
Yes.
Most
Yes. We'll definitely talk after.
Yeah, Caves was great, man. Y'all.
Thank you, man.
nailed it.
In the
My
cave.
first time to see
Great
y'all.
show.
I want to say Matthews too. So
Cool.
Magic.
Well, yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, I knew there was positive things that happened on that show.
I'm getting
The
there.
sound was really great too.
Yes.
That's why I noticed that mic, man.
Yeah.
That mic
Well, I
sounded great
remember
to
other
me.
weird stuff.
Well, that was that whole night was weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a
But
lot
it
of
ended
people.
good.
Yeah.
So Fortress Festival, and maybe you could do something fancy. Can you do fancy things?
Dude, we
Can you do fancy
we
shit?
can do
You can?
fancy things.
Okay.
You point.
So
you
check
point
this
one
shit
place.
out, okay?
Magic banana.
Yeah. Like that magic banana in your hand right now? That one right there? Okay, so hold on.
Y'all didn't know I had that, right?
She's slowly getting angry at all the work.
That's
she's
a
gonna have to
magic
do.
banana.
This is more work. Yes.
So
And the squirrel on your shoulder.
It talks.
it's
It's
talking
jalapeno
magic.
cheese banana.
We can't make it too difficult.
So hold up.
It's a magic banana. Just leave it alone.
So there's a lot of cool people we're playing with at this event. We're sharing the stage with. You got Father John Misty, Courtney Burnett, De La Soul. What I'm really looking forward to be honest, there's two artists on here that I'm looking forward to play with. Neither one of them is the super headliner, but like RZA, right? From Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm
dude,
standing in the same fucking place playing a show with fucking Wu-Tang.
That's how I feel about De La Soul.
Okay.
De La Soul.
Three.
That's the great thing about Fortress Festival is because it's so all the styles of music are so different and sitting together. But them and another local based out of Denton, Pearl Earl.
Yeah.
They're like
Pearl Earl,
psyche punk, all girl band.
Super
There's
cool.
so much energy. They sound fucking killer, dude. So I'm just happy like that they are picked from the same pool we're picked from. It's such I feel high honor from that. Like when like there's a lot of talent like Ronnie Hart. You know,
Ronnie Hart,
DJ
yeah,
Ronnie
I've heard
Hart's
of Ronnie,
playing. Yeah.
definitely.
It's going to be a killer show. But to wrap it up, it is April 28th, April 29th at the Modern Art Museum of Fort Worth and the Will Rogers Memorial Center.
Do you know the specific day? It's 2 days. Are y'all playing
Saturday and
both days or
Sunday. We're playing Sunday,
Sunday. Do you know what time?
the 29th.
Do not
No,
know
but we're
times.
going on, I think, 3rd or 4th, something like that.
It's online. Check it out.
Okay.
They'll post it eventually.
Look online. God damn it.
Yeah, check it out online.
Online.
Online. So we are Henry the Archer.
Yes.
You got that?
Right.
Henry
the Archer.
The Archer. Oh, he's got to be okay. So let's try this again. Here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna flip that mirrored image over,
There we go.
and now it's proper.
And the magic.
And the magic banana.
All right. Henry the Archer. Fortress Festival.
Yes.
Fortress
April
Festival.
28th, 29th.
Yes.
Thank you guys for
Album
coming
summer.
out.
Thanks for having
man.
us.
No, it's a blast.
Everything's
Everything was great.
man.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so fun.
Your
Thank you
set's
guys so
awesome.
much.
I love your orange Bonham set. It's beautiful.
Thank you. All right.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
y'all.
Yes.
Good shit.